Hi, in this video I want to teach you how to make this newborn's baby hat. It's from newborn to 3 months. It's very easy to knit and I hope you guys like it, and here is the list of material you're gonna need to make it. To make this hat, the yarn I'm gonna use is from Loops and Thread Impeccable. It has 128 grams or 245 meters. It's 100% acrylic. It's medium 4 and the color is clear blue. It's a beautiful color. You can use this hat design either for a boy or a girl. The needles that I'm going to use, they are circular needle, but you can use a straight needle if you like. I want to do it with a circular needle, that way I don't have any seams for the hat. It's nice in the round. These ones are 6 millimeters and the length of my cord is 22 centimeters. And you can use these ones too if you like. You're gonna need measuring tape, tapestry needle to lose your tails, and scissors. To make this hat, I'm gonna wrap my yarn on my needle 26 times. This stitch is multiple of 4, so what I'm gonna do is wrap around my yarn on my needle 26 times because I'm gonna cast on 52 stitches. Let's pretend that this is my 26, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold your yarn like this and double them, and then here where the tail is, you're gonna grab there, and that's the amount of yarn that you will need to leave for your casting on. So for me, it's gonna be 26 times 2 for my 52 stitches. If you want this hat a little bit bigger, you can add some more, but remember this stitch is multiple of 4, so each time you add a little bit, you have to add 4 at a time. 4, 4, 4. Okay? So I'm gonna wrap my yarn on my needle off camera and I will show you how to cast on. Here I have the amount of tail that I need to cast on. So what I'm gonna do now is do a slip knot. And you're gonna cast on, either you're using a straight needle or a circular needle, you're gonna cast on the same. If you are one of those ladies that make these hats for presents or to sell them, I recommend to invest in a circular needle. They are no expensive, and just to learn how to work with them because the hat look much better without that seam in the back. So you're gonna cast on. If you cast on before, go ahead and cast on your stitches, whatever way is easier for you. And I love to work with circular needle for hats because at the end I don't have to do any sewing, only close the top of the hat and that's it. So I'm going to finish casting on my 52 stitches off camera and I will show you how to continue. I wanted to mention, when you buy a circular needle for hats, try to buy one with short wire. Okay? After you finish casting on, you're going to do a knot here with the tail. Not too tight, just enough to secure the stitch. And you're going to make sure that all your stitches are facing the right way, that they're not twisted. You see, they're all to the center like that. So I'm going to start with 2 purl to net, 2 purl to net, all the way around. And you're going to need a marker if you're working with circular needle. Anything, a regular marker, a bobby pin or a safety pin, even a piece of yarn. But you need to mark the beginning and the end of when you finish each row. So you're going to start with 2 purl. And then 2 net. Two purl, to knit. I'm gonna work this all the way around, and I need to work for 3 to 4 centimeters wide for this border piece. So I'm gonna work off camera, and I will continue doing this all the way around, all the way around. Here I finished the first row. Now I'm gonna grab my marker and place it there, and this is gonna be the second row. So those two that I started was 2 purl, so I'm gonna purl them again. Now the next two, they're 2 net. Now the next ones are purl. Pearls are the ones that are round. If you look at them, they're a little bit round, and the knit, they're a little bit flat. So that way you can guide yourself for that. So I will meet you here when I have from 4 to 5, so 3 to 4 centimeters my border. Here I did 5 rows, and that gave me 3 centimeters, so that is perfect for me. The stitch that we're gonna do is this one here. Look how nice it looks. It's very easy to make. I just made it up. I don't know, maybe it's out there, but the way I did it without pattern, so it's very easy. We're gonna knit 2 rows. So you're gonna knit this row and another one. Remember, keep track of your rows. Like this, you're gonna knit, and when you get to the marker, you're gonna do another row on knit. I finished knitting the first row. I'm gonna do the second one, and it's exactly the same. You're gonna knit all the way around till you get to the marker. Now we're gonna start with the next row, and we're gonna repeat from this row on. So we're gonna do 3 purls. Now we're gonna pass our yarn to the back. Now we're gonna pass that next stitch to your needle, but you don't wanna work that stitch. You're gonna just pass it through the other side. You're gonna bring your yarn to the front, and you're gonna purl 3. 1, 2, and 3. Again, for number 4, you're gonna pass your yarn to the back. You're gonna pass that stitch to the other needle, bring the yarn to the front, and you're gonna purl 3. Just like that. Again, you will pass the yarn to the back, just like you're gonna knit, but instead of knit, you're gonna pass that stitch without working to the front. Pass your yarn again, purl 3, bring your yarn to the back, pass the stitch, yarn to the front, and purl 3. Like that, you're going to continue all the way to the end. Remember, 3 purls, and then number 4, you're going to pass that yarn to the other needle without working and that stitch. My last stitch here was 1 without working, so now again the next row gonna be exactly the same as the last one. 1, 2, 3 purl. You pass your yarn to the back, pass the stitch to the needle, pass your yarn through the front, and purl 3. You see, it's exactly the same. To the back, pass that one again, and purl 3. It's a very easy stitch and look really nice. The back, pass that one, bring yarn to the front, purl 3. You're going to continue doing this exactly the same as you did in the row before, all the way around. Remember, row number 1 and 2 they were net, so 3 and 4 they were purl without working those stitches. So now we're going to do again 2 rows of net. And you're going to net every single stitch. And here where that stitch is like that, usually I net from like this, but since that stitch is open like that, I'm gonna work that stitch like this for that strand under in the back, like that. So you're gonna net like that all the way around. You see, these ones are netting with the top strand of yarn. So in those ones you will net in the back strand of yarn. That way they're open, like that. So you're going to continue netting row number 5 and 6. Here I wanted to show you row number 6 is a net stitch all the way around. So you're going to work all of them from the front here, from front stitch here, or the front strand of yarn, or that one in the front or on the top, like that. We finished row number 6 with a net row. Now we're going to start row 7, and 8 will be like row 3 and 4, the purl row. But we don't want that stitch number 4 to be exactly in the same place as the other one. We don't want that stitch to be straight, so we want to interchange the position of that stitch. That way create these nice little squares. So in here in row number 3 I did 3 purl and the stitch, 3 purl and that stitch. So now in row number 7 what we're gonna do is 1 purl and that stitch, and then 3 purl and the stitch, 3 purl on the stitch, 3 purl on the stitch, and like that. That will be row number 7. Row number 8 will be the repetition of row number 7, and then 9 and 10 will be 2 knitting row. Row number 11 and 12 will be exactly what we did in row number 3 and 4. You see, we're coming back to those 2 rows. And like that, we're gonna, just by changing those 2 row, you know, where the position of the stitch is what we want to create this design. So now we're gonna do our row of purl. So we want to purl 1, bring the yarn to the back. We're gonna bring the stitch here without working. Bring the yarn to the front. We're gonna purl 3. And just by doing that, we change the position of that stitch. Again, yarn to the back, bring the stitch to the needle, bring the yarn to the front, and purl 3. yarn to the back, pass the stitch, yarn to the front, 3 purl. And this is row number 7. So what you're gonna do is for row number 8, start again, 1 purl, 1 stitch, pass the stitch to the other side, and knit 3 purls. So we're doing repetition of row number 7. Here I finished row number 8. So now we have to do 2 rows of knit. So I wrote down here in a piece of paper what we did so far and what we have to do. So far we did row number 1 and 2, they were knitted row. Row number 3 and 4, there were 3 purls, 1 stitch without working, 3 purl, 1 stitch without working, and so on. Row number 5 and 6, they were 2 rows of net. And remember, when you do row number 5, that stitch that you pass to the needle without working, you have to do that net to the back strand of yarn. So row number 7 and 8, they were 1 purl, 1 stitch without working, 3 purl, 1 stitch without working, and you're gonna finish with 2 purls. That's 7 and 8. Row number 9 and 10 that we have to do now, they are knitted row, exactly like row number 5 and 6. So row 11 and 12, there will be the repetition of row number 3 and 4. That is 3 purl, 1 stitch without working, 3 purl, and so on. Row number 13 and 14, they are the repetition of row number 5 and 6. They are 2 rows of net. And remember, again, what you have to do in number 5, that strand of yarn in the back. Row number 15 and 16 will be the repetition of row 7 and 8. And again, you go back again, the repetition. Okay? You can start from row number 1 if you want, until row number 8. So once I have the desired length for the hat, before my decrease, I will give you the amount of row and the measurements that I have for my hat, because not everybody knit the same. So maybe if I do 30 row, it will measure for me, let's say 15 centimeters, but for you 30 row will be 25 centimeters or will be 10 centimeters, depend how you knit. So I will meet you here when I have my desired length before the decrease start. This is what I done so far, and now we're going to start with the decrease. And I did like a 5.5 inches, 14 and a bit centimeters long for the entire hat. So if you look at here, here is where I start and end each row, and you don't want to see any seams. So that's why I like to work with circular needle for hats. That way it's a seamless hat. So now we're going to do the decreases. This is for me going to be row number 30. So row 28 and 29, they were knit, but now we're going to do the decrease, so we're going to continue with knit. So we're going to knit 1, and we're going to knit 2 together. That's going to be the entire decrease. Knit 1 separate, and 2 together. Knit 1 separate, and 2 together. Remember, you have to go, if you want a newborn baby's hat, you have to go by the measurements, not by number of rows, because maybe this 30 row will be a tiny little piece like that for you, or a big piece like that. So go by the measurements. So far this was 5.5 inches long. So now we're going to continue with 2 together. Okay? No, with 1. And now 2 together. So I'll meet you here when I finish this row. I finished that row of the decrease. Now this is the second row of decrease that for me will be row number 31. We're gonna net on each stitch, no decrease in this second row, just net. We finished the second row of decrease. Now we're gonna go to the third one, and it will be exactly like the first one. One net and two together in a net stitch. Like that is this next row of decrease. One net and two together. I've finished that row, and now we're going to do the last row of decrease, at least for me, and I start to get a little tight here. What I do, I pull my cable out a little bit, and that gives me space to work. And now we're going to do 2 net together all the way around, 2, 2, and 2, and I will end up with 12 stitches left, and then we will finish the hat. Now I have 12 stitches left, and I don't can decrease anymore because it's really difficult to do it with the circular needle. So now what I'm gonna do is cut a piece of yarn, not a lot, because we only need yarn to close the top of the hat. And I'm gonna pass it through my tapestry needle, and I will show you how you're gonna finish it. Here you're gonna pass your tapestry needle through all those loops that you have left. Once you pass it through, you're gonna pull your knitting needles out, and then you're gonna pull tight that stitch there. You're gonna pull tight, and then you will close the top of the hat. You'll pass your needle through the center to the inside, and then you'll lose the tail in the inside. Now you're gonna pass through, once you pull tight, it will be like that, your needle through the center end, and you're gonna lose this tail and this one, and I will show you the end result. Well, here is the end result, and I love this little baby's hat. So if you did a good job losing the tail, this hat is reversible because the stitch in the inside look really nice as well. You see? So it can be used inside out or whatever you like. So if you like, you can put a pom-pom in the hat. Personally, I don't like to put any pom-poms in the newborn's baby's hat because that give a weight to the hat, and since they are newborn, they have a very fragile neck, so it's better to leave it like that without a pom-pom. But that's a personal preference. So I hope you guys like it. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And with the yarn that I have left over, I'm gonna attempt to make the matching baby sweater, because I have, look, it looks hardly like I use any yarn for the hat. So I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye. Here I wanted to show you the hat in my model, and the stitch is beautiful.